fine. You could be a dentist.
Yeah, dentist.
You could be a postman. You could be
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts. Good job.
Yeah.
Postman, Dunkin' Donuts. Take your pick.
Those are the two perfect jobs.
Yeah, they're two great jobs.
Those are the only jobs. What about this? Every time now I talk to a guy and I go, hey, what do you do? He goes, oh, I'm a mechanical engineer. I just automatically tune out. I don't understand anybody's job anymore.
Anybody's job?
No.
Yeah.
I know postman.
Yeah. Well, my brother, I've never understood what he does for work. And we used to joke that he did something we just made up, which is D49ers. We just made up a word. Like, Tim does D49ers for work. Yeah. And so we're like, we'd have like relatives over for Christmas. And be like, what does your brother do again? And we're like, D49ers.
D49ers.
They go, what is that? And I go, I don't know. He does a lot of them, though.
That's fun. I like that.
And no one understands what I do for work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's impossible to explain.
It is impossible to explain.
And it took me like a year to understand my job, too.
Right.
For the first 6 months, I was like, sorry, what am I selling? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. Did you make any sales while you didn't understand what was going on?
Yeah, a few. There's a few that I made where I was like, I mean, I said like the talking points. So in theory, you can like memorize things to say, but like not know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then just like confidently be like, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. and then yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand anybody's job now. Can't you just host a podcast?
just be a YouTuber.
Just be a YouTuber and influencer. I understand that. Football coach.
Football coach. You never meet a guy who says, "What's your job?" I'm football coach.
No, but it would be great. I would go, now that I understand.
Actually, a guy I work with who I'd never met until he came to New York recently for this convention we had in the city.
Yeah.
He lives in like Minnesota. And he was like, I met him for the first time. He's been working for us for like 6 months, though.
Yeah.
He works and lives remotely. And he was like, oh, I'm going to be in Kansas City next weekend, where I am from.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, what are you doing there? And he goes, I got a football game. And I'm thinking, it's June.
Uh-huh.
You know, what is the football game?
Yeah.
No one's playing football right now.
Right.
And I go, oh, are you like a nephew? I mean, like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, no, I play for like a minor league, whatever type team or like a whatever, I don't know what it's called, some type of league.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, really? That's crazy. And he goes, yeah, it's just a good way to get the aggression out. And I was like, all right. Man, this is a little scary.
It's a good way to get the aggression out, so don't fuck with me.
Yeah, that was the vibe I got. I was like, that sounds awesome.
Wow. Yeah, could you imagine telling somebody, I play minor league football to get my anger out.
I can't imagine telling anybody that I'm doing anything to, quote, get the aggression out.
No.
That'd be the biggest red flag you could say to anybody. How much aggression are you holding?
Jesus Christ.
I know. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought you have a beer and jack off, and that does enough, but maybe not.
Perhaps not. You know what I do to get the aggression out?
What do you do?
I read the Wall Street Journal.
So do I. Well, speaking of which, should we tell the folks at home what this is all about?
Well, Joe, I would love nothing more.
We'll take it away, Trent.
If this is your first time listening, this is the Echo Chamber podcast, the only podcast where two comedians read the Wall Street Journal
because
one of us
gets it for free from work. That's right. One of us gets the Wall Street Journal for free from work.
And Joe, would you like to give us a little rundown of the stories we'll be covering today?
Oh, I'd love nothing more, Trent. We're going to give you guys a quick rundown of what we're going to be hearing today. We are going to hear about the latest corporate buzzword that is pissing people off and will surely upset us.
Great.
Let's double click that.
Say no more. I'm already pissed off.
So we're going to hear about double clicking.
Double clicking? Jesus Christ. Well, Joe, you're familiar with former and probably future President Donald J. Trump?
Yeah. They're calling him the next Grover Cleveland. The 22nd and 24th President of the United States. He's going to be 45 and 47.
Yeah. The next Grover, they say.
The next Grover. I'm sure he'll go down as popular as Grover was.
Well, you know, he's been in some legal trouble. I've heard
tell, yeah.
But apparently,
maybe less legal trouble than he was.
No, well, apparently the legal trouble, it's been kind of a boost to his campaign, actually.
That's insane.
Backfired.
Jesus Christ. Well, we're going to be hearing about actually a lot of politics from all around the world today.
Ooh.
We're also going to hear about a little-known retiree who's challenging the Venezuelan strongman incumbent right now, and he's got like a fucking 20-point lead over him.
Really?
And this guy's like a retired football coach. He's got his name's like Bob or something.
Oh, nice.
And everyone's like Bob, 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 Bob. That's pretty much the whole story.
Wow. Well, New Zealand, they're trying to get rid of pesky rodents that are ruining their ecosystem.
Whoa, wow.
Yeah.
Have they asked Gandalf perhaps if he can do any spells? Or maybe perhaps the elves.
Well, they should look into that, yes.
They have a lot of resources at their disposal down
They
there.
do, yeah.
There's also the evil Lord Sauron.
Yes.
Who's not very popular.
The evil Lord Sauron.
The evil Lord Sauron.
Anybody that's described as the evil Lord rarely is very popular.
Well, you know what else is not popular, Trent? And this is my last story. Nobody is popular in European politics. And we're
absolutely nobody.
Absolutely nobody.
Well, it could be same article be written about
They mentioned the U.S., but in Europe, it's like crazy. Yeah.
Oh,
it's like next level. We're gonna get there soon.
Wow. Yeah.
But it's bad for democracy. They think.
They're not sure.
I think they're pretty sure. Yeah.
We don't know. The jury is still out.
Yeah. So.
Well, in our final story, Joe, cities are trying to fix their dying downtowns by bringing in jugglers and other street performers.
Well, that sounds like an amazing way to finish up the podcast. I can't wait to hear about that. But first, we are going to take a quick little stint into the corporate world.
Oh, great.
And this is from the Wall Street Journal. Let's double-click on the latest corporate buzzword.
Ugh.
Or instead, just delve into the subject of how the phrase makes many cringe.
Yeah.
Well, Reuben Roy isn't a guy who tends to
from Succession, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's one of the Roy brothers. He's not a guy who tends to beat himself up, but he's still chagrined about what he said on an earnings call last month. You see, a managing director at Stifle Financial, Roy...
Ugh, what a terrible name that
Stifle? I know.
Stifle Financial.
Yeah. All my funds to be stifled.
God.
Yeah. There's always terrible names for all these places.
Yeah.
I walked by a sign for a realtor. It was Gamble Realty. What a god-awful name.
Why not?
Roll the fucking dice.
Do it.
Maybe the interest will go up. Maybe it'll go down. Well, the managing director, Roy, dialed in to hear the chief executive of the healthcare company discuss its latest results. During the Q&A, Roy asked the speaker to elaborate on his remarks about investment opportunities. Quote, I wanted to double-click a bit on some of the commentary you had, Roy said, instantly cringing. One of the fastest spreading...
He should shoot himself in the head.
I know. It's the easiest way out. Roy, I mean this from the body. I think you're a good guy.
Yeah.
But if it is the fastest way out.
Right. How about you double-click that trigger?
Yeah, no one could understand why anyone would jump out of the Twin Tower building, but when the fire inside was that hot. You have to be there to understand. One of the fastest spreading corporate buzzwords in recent years, double-click, is both polarizing and pervasive, particularly on Wall Street, whose summer it is. The figure of speech is now being used as a shorthand for examining something more fully, akin to double-clicking to see a computer folder's contents. Some like Roy find the idiom obnoxious or twee. Just twee. I don't know what twee means.
Tweety bird.
Double-click defenders say the phrase encourages deeper thinking.
Jesus Christ. Have you heard this?
No, I've never heard it, but it immediately pissed me off.
Yeah.
Imagine saying, let's double-click that. I want to dig a little deeper. Let's double-click that.
You know what I would say? I would go, let's enhance.
Yeah, computer, enhance. Enhance. Alon had a friend of the show, welcome anytime, had a sketch idea where it was just a guy asking someone to enhance something in a corporate setting.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a real...
Yeah, we can't actually do that.
And then he freaks out.
That's very funny.
Well, people are like, oh, here we go with double click, says Roy, who's been trying to avoid using the term when he accidentally let it slip. Colleagues, he says, haven't let him forget it. Good. Don't let him forget it. Slide him the gun down the fucking... down the bar.
Jesus
Double click
Christ.
lingo has leapfrogged beyond corporate America, while CEOs including Walmart's Douglas McMillan and NVIDIA's Jensen Huang have deployed
what
the
happened
term.
to Sam Walton?
He said, I'm out. If we're double clicking, I'm going to retire to Arkansas. In my fucking amazing little empire I built down here. The phrase is, quote, innovative, says Beth Del Giaco.
Here's something. No more innovation ever. We're done. Yeah. We've reached the peak. It's only downhill.
Well, we've innovated our way into
hell. We live in hell. Pure hell.
Why do we need to innovate anything else?
I don't know.
Yeah, except that maybe
it's never enough.
Yeah. Well, she says, this is crazy. It's only a few syllables. Everyone knows what you mean when you say it.
No, I didn't. I wouldn't understand what that means.
And how could you defend it? How could you go in a newspaper to defend that? Put your fucking name on the line.
Yeah, that's where you...
This is the hill I want to die on. Let's double click that. It's only a few syllables, and everyone knows what it means.
And I love it.
Yeah, and I love it. Fucking horrific
Screaming
bitch.
from a fucking roof.
Her husband's reading this going like, God damn it, just let it go with the double clicking.
What the fuck did I get myself in?
This is good.
Double click on the divorce papers.
Well, the inventor of the literal double click,
Yeah.
former Apple designer Bill Atkinson, isn't convinced. He doesn't like it.
He hates it.
He doesn't like it, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. Not only does he not like the phrase double click, he regrets inventing the double click.
You know what? I never really thought about it until this article, but I don't like the double click.
It doesn't make sense. He adds that since inventing the function in 1979, he's come to regret it. Which is a funny thing to live his life in regret. It sounds like it's really keeping him up at night. Yeah. He now thinks an extra shift button on the mouse would have been a lot more user friendly. Quote, the double click was a mistake. Atkinson, who left tech in 1995 to pursue nature photography.
Wow.
I mean, he drove himself out of tech with the double click. He goes, what have I done?
Sounds like one of the only guys in technology that has a conscience.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just the most evil scumbag in the world.
Did.
Yeah.
Which is make me click twice.
God.
I remember like the first time I used a computer and I was learning double click.
Yeah.
I was like, "What? This is crazy."
Yeah.
I gotta click twice really fast. But not 3 times. If you get an extra one, you're fucked. You've already
computer shuts down, locks all the doors, like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
The landline's cut off. Doors locked. Your dad goes into cardiac arrest. Yeah, it's over.
That double click and right click. If I never have to do either one of those again, I'd be happy.
Yeah, right click sucks. Personally, and this is the guy who invented it, he double clicks less frequently these days, given the rise of mouseless devices and tablets and smartphones. Quote, I double tap or I tap, he says. I long press.
Double tap's worse.
I long press.
Long press.
He goes, I don't double click anymore. I invented it. Yeah, I made a mistake. I don't know. I'm just taking pictures of birds. Well, double clicking can help identify new business prospects, said Scott Bond, Vice President of Consumer Services at Canadian real estate company Rennie, bullshit job, bullshit place, which recently opened a U.S. location in Seattle. Not long ago, Bond was on a Zoom call with his boss and some new business contacts based in California. The group hit it off, and afterward, Bond found himself mulling possibilities. I looked at my boss and I said, hold on. I think we're being presented with an opportunity here. He says, why don't we dive in and learn a little more? His boss agreed, and the company is now planning to open its second American location in the Palm Springs area. We double clicked, he said.
Oh, my God.
Sometimes, Trent, it pays to double click. Now, why don't we dive a little deeper into your next story? Let's double click into that.
Let's double click into this. Yeah. Well, Joe, this is from the Wall Street Journal.
Oh.
Headline: Trump prosecutions have been political gift.
That's insane. What are the odds of that?
How 91 counts that seem poised to end his campaign made it stronger.
Can you imagine Jimmy Carter becoming a convicted felon and then winning re-election? I mean, how far have we gone off the rails?
It's bizarre. A year ago, the legal system seemed to be closing in on Donald Trump.
Donald J. Trump.
Well, that's what I call him, but the liberal Wall Street Journal left out the J.
The Wall Street Journal, famously liberal.
Yeah. Prosecutors painted a sweeping portrait of a president who allegedly tried to overturn the results of an election he knew he lost, hung on to classified documents he knew he should return, and secretly paid off a porn star to keep quiet about an affair he knew voters would care about. No one in America, prosecutors said, not even a former president, is above the law.
Well, now they are. But.
Yeah. Instead, the 4 different cases against him have boosted his third bid for the White House and paved the way for him to enjoy an unprecedented level of authority if he gets there.
Jesus Christ. So scary.
Well, a Manhattan jury in May found Trump guilty on 34 counts in the hush money case. Jail time seems unlikely. His other cases have been delayed and likely curtailed in court. Instead,
he'll be fine. He's going to become president, pardon himself. He won't even have to go back to court.
Yeah. Instead of turning off voters with their detailed descriptions of misconduct, the prosecution's rallied supporters.
Well, it's energized the base.
It's energized the base.
It's all about energizing the base.
Seen that coming except anybody at all.
You know whose base is not energized? Joe Biden's.
No, it's
I don't think any part of
the opposite of energized.
The base, the roof, the ceiling, the walls, nothing's energized. It's completely out of batteries. He's out of batteries.
Yeah, he's out of batteries. The whole thing.
It's done.
I mean, how quickly it turned, too.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Within a split second. As soon as he started talking at that debate, it was like, oh.
It's over. Yeah, we were watching. It was crazy.
Yeah. The Supreme Court's decision this past week to effectively shield Trump for prosecution for many acts he took as president has cast into sharper focus a question that has haunted criminal investigations of the former president from the start. If the point of prosecution is to hold someone accountable for wrongdoing and punish them within the judicial system, what happens if the prosecution ends up being a political gift? Quote, you do see some erosion of the credibility of the Department of Justice with the half of the population that disagrees with you, said Greg Sofer, a longtime federal prosecutor who was a U.S. attorney in San Antonio during the Trump administration, adding that the disparate local and federal cases had the effect of looking like a pile-on.
It's a pile-on.
It's a pile-on.
I heard Trump's defense is the same one Robert Durst used to get out of that dismembering of that guy in Texas.
That's
a bunch of guys in cowboy hats.
Yeah. I did not kill my best friend. I did dismember him.
I did dismember him. But who wouldn't do that for their best friend?
Right, exactly.
I would dismember you if I had to, Trent.
Well, I would hope.
And you give me permission to eat you if I need to resort to cannibalism.
Absolutely, and it's recorded on this podcast, so it's legally binding.
And I give you permission to eat my body should you find yourself in a cannibal situation.
A cannibal-type situation.
You need to eat someone to survive.
Well, when we fly over the Andes. The day he was convicted in May of falsifying records to cover up a hush money payment, small donors poured a record-shattering $34.8 million into his campaign.
He's making crazy money right now from it.
Yeah.
And Biden's biggest donors are cutting him off until
Clooney kicked him to the curb. He said, get out of here.
Clooney said, you're done. Yeah. You want to use Casamigos money? You're done.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
But that's the thing is when he got convicted that day, I was at a QED doing a mic, and they had it on the big screen, and all these people were it was like
cheering or something.
Cheering, they were happy as could be, and then I was like, well, what does that mean?
It doesn't mean, yeah.
And then they're like, yeah.
My mom texted me, she was like, finally justice for that Cheeto. And I was like, I don't think.
Doesn't really mean anything at all.
No. No.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's something to celebrate, I suppose. Last August, when Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis announced the 4th case, she said it was her office's 11th RICO indictment under her watch. Quote, we followed the same process, she said, but within months, Willis's case stalled amid revelations she had a romantic relationship with the lawyer she selected as her deputy.
Wait.
So... anytime they do try to do anything, it always backfires. They fuck up somehow.
They fuck each other.
Yeah. And then they fuck everything
What
up.
is it about a courtroom that makes everybody's libido go through the roof? They're always fucking each other, fucking the defendants, fucking the witnesses, the court reporters, judge, jury.
Yeah.
If you're doing jury duty, the odds are you're gonna get fucked by somebody.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, maybe it's that hot courtroom.
It's all the courtroom dramas too.
The courtroom drama. It's steamy.
There's something about a woman in like a suit with like a briefcase.
Yeah. I've always said this, Joe. There's nothing more attractive than a woman in a pantsuit.
Me too. With a short haircut.
Yeah.
No makeup, breast reduction.
I know. I would get home.
Shoulder enlargement.
Oh, yeah. I'd get home from school, turn on Judge Judy, and fucking jerk off like
top
crazy.
Surgery.
Like mad.
That's just what turns me on.
Yeah. The classified documents case got assigned to a judge. So after that affair was revealed, the case got assigned to a judge in Florida whom Trump nominated. And it had shown she was open to considering
Jesus
legal arguments
Christ.
from Trump's team that other judges might have cast aside. So he's like the luckiest.
Well, they rigged all the judges.
Yeah, he's also kind of the luckiest man in the world.
He is the luckiest man of all time.
Trump's lawyers could hardly believe their luck.
He didn't even mean to win the presidential election
No.
the first time. He did it as a marketing. He was shocked that he won. He was like in disbelief.
Yeah, I know.
Hillary Clinton talked about she called him to congratulate him to do whatever the like ritual of doing that.
Yeah.
And she said that he was like in more disbelief than she was. And he was like, thanks.
Yeah, it's crazy. Quote, what was the mystique of John Gotti, said Timothy Parlatore, who represented Trump, in reference to how the mobster's reputation grew as he was acquitted 3 times. Quote, he kept beating the government.
Yeah, that's always cool.
Yeah.
To see somebody do that. We love to see a guy work the system.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're electing John Gotti. Again.
All right, let's see what he'll do this time. It'll be crazy. Well, things are going the other way down in Venezuela. Or maybe they're not. We'll find out.
Yeah.
But this is from the Wall Street Journal. Little-known retiree challenges Venezuelan strongman.
Oh.
A few months ago, Edmundo Gonzalez's life in retirement consisted of academic conferences, visiting old friends, and playing with grandchildren at his Carcaras high-rise. Few in Venezuela knew him. Now, the soft-spoken 74-year-old is the opposition's presidential candidate in the July 28th election, and what some analysts say could be the last hope for democracy in a country ruled for 11 years by the strong man he is challenging, President Nicolás Maduro. Gonzalez has never run for office, but polls give the former career diplomat a 20-point advantage. 20 points.
Wow.
Over Maduro, who is seeking a third 6-year term. The same polls show Maduro is widely reviled for driving the oil-rich nation to ruin and leading a quarter of the population, some 8 million people, to flee the country.
Yeah.
I've never done party politics nor been in a popular election before, Gonzalez said in an interview with the Wall Street Journal. Quote, this is all completely new to me. Venezuela's normal fractious opposition came together to rally around Gonzalez as a third-string choice after Maria Corina Machado, a charismatic pro-business politician who garnered 90% of the votes in a primary last year, was banned by the regime from running. So he banned his main political opponent.
Wow.
And for some reason, the government never explained why it let Gonzalez run. But it let him run, and now he's up 20 points in the polls.
Interesting.
But it's a little more complicated than that. Gonzalez's commanding lead might not be enough to bank on when the vote in Venezuela is neither free nor democratic.
Yeah.
Says Western diplomats and human rights groups. Bullshit groups. The Maduro administration has been accused of arbitrarily jailing dissidents, rigging elections, and coercing desperate voters with food handouts. The elections come after efforts by the U.S. and its European allies to coax Maduro into holding a fair vote in exchange for relieving some of Washington's economic sanctions against the country. Maduro's government signed a deal in Barbados in October with the U.S.-backed opposition committing to holding a democratic vote, but he later broke the agreement, complaining that the U.S. hadn't helped Venezuela the way it promised.
Yeah.
Quote, Are we going to let that decrepit old man who represents savage capitalism into power? Maduro asked supporters in a rally over the weekend. They all said, yes. Rafael Guzman, a former lawmaker and advisor to the major opposition party, said Maduro's rivals need to offer credible guarantees of security and possible amnesty to some regime officials to get themselves to get them to give up power. Quote, if there's no negotiations, there's no transition, Guzman said. So it's not really a situation where he could win the election and become the new leader of the country.
Yeah.
He has to also negotiate with the people in power to be like, we won't jail you.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. You'll all be safe if you hand over power.
You get off scot-free.
So it's a very gritty...
Wow, so he's walking the tightrope here.
He's walking the tightrope.
Edmundo.
Gonzalez said his campaign promotes national reconciliation. Quote, we could have a situation where the magnitude of our victory will be so wide that the government understands that we will have a new reality in the country. The next presidential term doesn't begin until January. Quote, we are going to have to sit down with them and see how the government responds. So they're trying to like come to the table to be like, what if you did let go of power? Rather than holding a normal...
Hear me out.
Hear me out. I'm up a lot. Obviously, you could bar me from running.
Right.
What if we just work
What if we
something
don't
out?
do that?
What if we don't do that? Yeah. So he's going to tread lightly.
Why do you think he... Now, could it be sexism, Joe, that he banned a woman from running? Would he
I
be
think
afraid of losing to a woman?
I don't know. I think that was his main rival.
Yeah.
And probably.
Yeah.
Can't lose to a woman.
No.
Not if you're a strong man. A Venezuelan strong man can't
yeah,
lose to a woman.
Yeah. Right.
But I don't know. He banned her, and then maybe he thought, well, I can't ban everybody. I'll let the
That would
old
look bad.
school teacher. That would look bad.
If I ban everyone, that would look bad. So
Banning my main rival's understandable,
Yeah.
I think. I mean, come on. What would you do if you were in my shoes?
Yeah, right.
You can't ban it. I'll let the old school teacher run.
I'll
Oh,
let
he's
it.
up 30 points in the polls?
Well, it'd look bad if I banned him now.
Yeah.
Huh.
Maybe I'll kill him. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Interesting.
But you know what? I'm rooting for him, Edmundo Gonzalez.
We're all rooting for Gonzalez here on the pod. We're
the
Gonzalez,
world-
friend of the pod. Welcome anytime.
Welcome anytime.
What if we got
If you-
Gonzalez to do the pod?
Yeah, help him with his campaign. Listen, the world needs a win.
The world needs a win. Ain't that the truth?
So anyway, Joe, this is from the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal.
New Zealand versus predators.
Good versus evil.
Yes, scientists debate whether a plan to eliminate invasive animals is feasible.
May not be.
May not be. Dateline Banks Peninsula, New
Now-
Zealand. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, is New Zealand does it have more creepy crawlers than Australia? Because Australia's got all kinds of snakes and crocodiles.
Yes.
Is New Zealand the same? Does that have more?
I don't know. It doesn't really compare Australia to New Zealand.
Any
in this
little
regard.
island out there has crazy stuff.
Crazy
Madagascar's
stuff.
got all
Yes.
kinds of creepy crawlers.
Oh yes, big giant spiders.
England, not so much. They got lucky.
They got lucky, but then they brought all of the invasive species over, and they kind of fucked everything up.
Right, and they have beans for breakfast.
Yeah,
That's no good.
Fucking idiots.
Fucking morons.
Anyway, armed with a .22 caliber rifle, a GPS tracker,
I'm getting hard.
and a dog named Smack,
Let's go.
Jason Millichamp set off with a license to kill.
This rocks.
His mission: find and eliminate brush-tail possums, an intruder that eats baby birds and strips vegetation from native trees. Millichamp, I didn't know possums ate other animals.
I think they'll eat anything they can find, really.
Yeah, I saw a possum out. I came home late the other night.
Yeah, I saw one down there, too.
rummaging around in the
Yeah,
trash.
they like trash.
Yeah, and there's a lot of trash around here. So
That's true.
Millichamp, a 59-year-old former helicopter mechanic, is on the front lines of New Zealand's drive to be predator-free by 2050.
Predator-free by 2050.
Yeah. That means eradicating invasive species such as possums, rats, and mustelids.
Well, couldn't that fuck up the whole ecosystem? You know, you take a couple guys out. It's like if you remove the bees, the whole world will explode.
That's kind of why I'm not sure about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it does seem like it could. That's another. We're walking the tightrope
adverse effects
in many areas.
Yeah,
Joe,
that's right. The world is on the brink.
Yeah, it really is. It's just holding on by a thread.
Holding on by a goddamn thread.
Mustelids. Do you know what a mustelid is?
No, but it sounds like a creature in New Zealand.
Well, it's a group that includes weasels and stoats.
Well, you know what?
I don't know
I'm
what a
okay
stoat
with
is
removing them. I say no more weasels or stoats.
No more weasels.
Yeah. Fucking behead all of them.
Beady eye to a little weasel.
They shouldn't just get rid of them. They should hang all of them publicly.
Send a message.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. Millichamp and Smack, the dog, who locates possum with his nose, are the mop-up team. They are often deployed to find the last few animals after most possums in an area have been killed with poison or traps. On their recent expedition to a cattle farm, Smack found a possum in a cluster of vines. Millichamp poked toward the animal with his walking stick. Then he shot it.
Fuck yeah.
Smack retrieved the animal, but it was still alive, so Millichamp shot it again.
While Smack was wrangling it?
I don't know. But I just like that they included that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It adds nothing to the story.
It doesn't add anything. Yeah, he killed the possum.
He shot it, but he couldn't kill it on the first shot, so he shot it again.
He's like, hey, do you have to leave this in here? That took me like 3 tries to kill this thing.
It makes me look bad. I'm wasting bullets.
Yeah, the first paragraph made me look like a rock star.
Yeah.
Now I kind of look like a bumbling idiot.
I can't kill a possum with one shot.
With 2 bullets, a dog, and it's taking everything I got.
Unfortunately, to protect our birds, we've got to kill these things, he said. In essence, it shouldn't be here.
What does that mean? Shouldn't be here, but it is. It's natural.
It is, and it's still...
also, you know what? People shouldn't be there.
Right. That's the next step. killing the people.
And him and the dog are going to do that next. Right. Yeah.
One at a time. One man on New Zealand.
Takes him 5 bullets
man
per
and
person.
His dog.
I didn't get him.
We got to clean up this town. Countries all over the globe are fighting against invasive species. In the U.S., foreign mussels are wreaking havoc in the Great Lakes.
Great Lakes.
Invasive fungi are threatening trees in Hawaii, and non-native carp are invading rivers and lakes.
Goddamn carp. Goddamn carp.
Goddamn carp. That's the goddamn carp again.
All right, Bill.
You don't get it, Sharon. Many governments employ strict biosecurity rules at points of entry, such as throwing away fresh fruit and inspecting imported wildlife. New Zealand's campaign is unusual because it aims to eradicate small, mobile, and fast-breeding predators from the entire nation. Increasingly sophisticated traps equipped with cameras and artificial intelligence, also known as AI, that can identify species in real time, are being deployed. Scientists have developed a toxic bait that specifically targets rats and is largely harmless to other animals. So, to me, that seems like it could easily backfire.
I think all of this is going to backfire.
Yeah.
I think if you get rid of every weasel, possum, and rat in all of New Zealand, something bad's going to happen. Like a volcano's going to erupt.
If you get rid of every possum, weasel, and rat, why there'd be no more politicians?
Oh, got him. Zinger. Who's going to run the country?
Researchers are exploring whether genetic technology can stop some creatures from breeding. Forced sterilization, Joe.
Jesus, these people are monsters.
They've gone mad with power. But the effort introduced nearly a decade ago is proving controversial. Animal rights groups are alarmed about the ethics of killing millions of creatures. Some scientists argue that alternative approaches such as moving threatened animals to sanctuaries with predator-proof fences might make more sense. The predator-free plan, quote, retains the dream of permanently eliminating highly fertile and short-lived pests by direct frontal assault, lethal control over large geographic areas.
What happens to their natural prey, these predators? They have no natural predator now if you remove the predators, and then they become overpopulated.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever they're eating, squirrels, whatever it is, now the whole fucking country's run by squirrels. You want squirrels instead of rats? Pick your poison.
I would take squirrels, to be
tread
honest.
lightly. Tread lightly. You're playing God.
Yeah, they are playing God.
You're playing God.
Yeah.
Fucking keep your mouth shut and let us film another Lord of the Rings movie there.
Right.
That's all they're good for.
And make it good. Make it a good one this time. Not that fucking bullshit Amazon show.
Not that dog shit Amazon show that you fucked up. New Zealand. As if they wrote it and directed it.
Come on. Step your fucking game up.
You have one export and it's Lord of the Rings.
Although the plan has had some local successes, quote, it has never explained how it can do this at a landscape scale.
Right.
So
they're going to need more than one guy and a dog, that's for sure.
Also, there's the cost.
They're going to need like 5 guys and 5 dogs.
5 guys and 5 dogs. That should do it.
Yeah.
There's also the cost, Joe.
Oh, I can't imagine what this is going to cost.
The latest estimates suggest up to $6 billion will be needed for the campaign to succeed. That could be a challenge for a country of 5.3 million people.
Yeah.
Roughly the population of South Carolina.
$1,000 a person.
It's also been struggling economically.
This seems like a kind of a back burner issue.
Yeah. Quote, most people would love it if rats and possums and stoats would be removed from the country. If you could press a button, almost everyone would do it, said Ali Palmer, a senior research fellow at the University of Auckland, who has studied public perception of the program. But there are some ongoing concerns about the how and also about the can we.
Well, maybe this is worth a double click.
We should double click on this.
Let's double click.
Yeah. Also, that's such a definitive statement.
What?
Most people would click a button to remove all the possums and stoats.
It must be a real issue over there.
I guess so. On one predator-free island home to threatened species such as flightless parrot called the kakapo, the government spent some $295,000 over 8 months tracking down a single stoat.
That's insane.
Yeah,
give it up. Let the stoat do its thing.
Yeah, it's one guy.
I mean, what are you out of your mind? Yeah. What are there, trillion of them there?
Right.
You're gonna spend $1,000 billion on one?
One stoat.
I don't even know what a stoat is.
I don't either.
Sounds like
I'd like
a
to
bastard.
see a picture. It sounds like an evil fucking bastard.
Yeah, it sounds like one of the worst things that's ever existed.
Even some supporters aren't sure the 2050 nationwide goal is achievable. Quote, I think it's a pipe dream, said 83-year-old Georgie Orban, who lives in the Banks Peninsula. He's 83. He's never going to see it. Even if it does happen, he's never going to see it.
Yeah.
So
he's lived 83 years with stoats
I'm sorry,
and
you don't
possums.
get to weigh in.
Yeah.
If you're not going to live to see 2050. Quote, we're reasonably confident that we can do possums, said Rob Forlong, chief executive of Predator Free 2050. With rats and stoats, they're a lot harder.
I still want to know what a stoat is. It must be like a rat.
We should look it up. We'll superimpose it.
We always say we're going to superimpose. We don't have the technology.
The technology just isn't there.
It's just not there yet. Neither is the technology to eradicate all of those species.
But that's so funny. We're pretty sure we can do the possums. Rats.
Now, possums we can kill.
They're a little bigger than me.
We could do a possum genocide easy.
They may take 2 shots, but we could do
Rats, it's hard. You got to identify them. You got to make them wear a little star first.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Well, Trent, this is from the Wall Street Journal.
Oh.
Stoats, they may not be popular in New Zealand.
Yeah.
But in Europe, nobody is popular.
Wow.
In politics.
Oh, boy.
Nobody is popular in European politics.
Yeah.
Votes in France and the UK show splintering as leaders struggle to claim clear mandates. In the space of 4 days, France and the UK defied the theory that European politics is shifting decisively towards the anti-immigration right. Instead, the results of recent elections confirmed that the bigger trend is fragmentation. Divisions are multiplying in European societies, making it harder for leaders to claim a clear mandate, or in many countries, to cobble together a coherent governing majority. France's fractured new National Assembly will make forming a government there more difficult than at any time since the creation of the Fifth Republic in 1958. So, for those not aware, in Europe they don't have a 2-party system. All these countries have like a 5 or 6 party system.
Yes.
And whoever wins like the most, you might win like 30% of the vote, and you're like the most.
Yeah.
So then you got to get with a bunch of these other factions to like put together a government. So you have to work with like the fucking Green Party and the Libertarians to form
the Whigs.
The Whig Party and the fucking Democratic Republicans.
Bull Moose.
The Bull Moose Party. You got to get those fucking 8 guys in there and go, yes, we'll give you the tax break on the trees. And now you got a government that's like so fucked up where you're like, okay, we have to do this for the bull moose guys.
Yeah.
But we want to do this, but we also had to work with the Nazis a little bit.
Right.
And, well, many voters preferred small parties, including centrist, environmentalists, and the populist right. Turnout was also the second lowest in a century. As voters' loyalty to traditional parties declines, results are becoming more volatile from ballot to ballot. Support for established parties, the center right and center left, is declining as voters turn to upstarts. New movements can rise fast but also fade quickly, as French President Emmanuel Macron's pro-business interests have discovered.
Yes.
Patience with new government is short. Being in the incumbent can be a liability at a time of pervasive frustration in politics. Democracy is in crisis, said Matteo Renzi, a former Italian prime minister. The first problem is that when you vote, things don't always change.
Yeah.
Well, in America, Trent, voters are no happier than Europeans about the political choices. Trump and Biden are the least popular pair of candidates for the White House in at least 3 decades, according to a new survey.
Is there any like explanation on why this is happening all over the globe?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that for decades we were voting for one or the other.
Yes.
And then nothing really happens or gets better and nothing ever changes.
Right.
And so now people are voting really like, maybe I'll vote for like the Green Party or the Nazis.
Yes.
And then that, based on the system, is fucking everything up.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, and it's cobbled together with other problems because you have Russian expansionism challenging the continent's post-Cold War international order. Mm-hmm. Chinese industries are threatening to swap key European manufacturing sectors. The possible return of Trump as an American president could upend Europe's security completely.
Yeah.
In most of the big European countries and in the U.S., far more voters say they are dissatisfied with democracy than satisfied, which is actually pretty crazy. For people to say, how are you feeling about democracy as a concept? And for over 50% of people saying dissatisfied.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
And then when you look at the other options, it's like fascism.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I don't know what else there is.
Right.
Just a ruler, you know.
Yeah, jeez.
But that might be coming back. So it's weird because even though like the left won this big election in the UK and in France,
yes,
and everyone's like, "Oh, that's big," it's actually not, because they're like, well, they're gonna fuck this up because everyone who comes into power now immediately becomes really unpopular, and now the next election they think, oh boy. The fascists are gonna
swing
be
far
back.
to the right.
Yeah. Germany, for example, is showing how hard it can be to govern while voters are split between established and upstart brands, moderate and radical parties. Chancellor Olaf Scholz, now that's a German name. Yeah, I've never heard one.
I'm not worried about Germany. They've always got it right.
Yeah. Well, you'll never believe what's happening there. He leads a fractious coalition of center-left Democrats, pro-business Democrats, and Greens whose contradictions have mired in a constant fight over priorities. Meanwhile, the far-right alternative for Germany has established itself as part of the country's political landscape, despite some of its officials' attempts to rehabilitate the image of the Third Reich.
Jesus Christ.
The AfD remains unpalatable as a coalition partner for most, but its size, especially in Eastern Germany, is making it harder for others to reach a governing majority.
Wow.
Which means that eventually, if Olaf and his guys fuck up, one of these guys is going to win and have no choice but to partner with the Nazis.
The Third Reich.
With the Third Reich.
The Third Reich.
The Fourth Reich. So that's the issue. Is like, it's not this election. It's like based on how factious it is, somebody's going to be like screwed into having to work with one of these people.
Jesus Christ.
Like, they're not going to win outright, but someone's going to have to work with them. What is clear is that the stakes for the continent are quite high.
I'd say. Wow. What about this?
We're holding on by a thread, Trent.
Good Lord. What about this? The Emmanuel Macron. I don't know if we've ever talked about this.
Yeah.
Married an older woman.
Right.
Who was his school teacher.
He's loving on an older gal.
She taught him in school. Did you know that?
Yeah, she taught him. She was the only one who could teach the son of a preacher man. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Was she? How much older is she?
Well, she was. I think she's like
20 years.
Yeah, probably maybe more.
It's kind of hot. But France is always like, every leader is like divorced with like multiple mistresses.
Yeah,
and like they're smoking and they're like they fuck whoever.
They fuck whoever.
It sounds like a cool time. They're just fucking crazy. Yeah, like it's a mess. No, like leader of France has had like a wife and kids and a dog, like the American model.
No.
Yeah.
I kind of respect it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the dream of every boy to fuck their teacher.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Be held back after class. You're 16. She's 31. She's shoving her cans in your face.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
I don't either. But anyway, Joe, this is from the Wall Street Journal. This is our final story.
Final story on the pod. I'm excited for this one.
Headline: City's new fix for downtowns that are dying. Bring in the jugglers.
So things aren't all bad.
Yes, it's a bright spot. In today's episode of Echo Chamber, local leaders hire street performers to try to make office districts less depressing.
So, like Port Authority, they're going to get jugglers over there? Yeah, that'll brighten the place up. Are you kidding me? That's insane.
The musician who goes by the stage name Martini Shakers travels across
Hey, boys!
I think it's a guy.
Hey, boys.
There you go. Much better. Travels across the South playing rockabilly songs on his guitar, accordion, saxophone, and harmonica. He has performed at barn raisings, hog killings,
possum killings, and classic car shows. He has entertained at fine dining restaurants and played before TV celebrities. So not movie stars. So he's not that big. I mean, rockabilly car shows. Yeah.
Well, I don't know why they have to specify TV celebrities.
TV celebrities. Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Just say celebrities.
Yeah.
Mention it at all. Hog killing. What? Have you ever been to a hog killing?
I don't know if that's the right word for even what that is. Hog killing sounds insane. Yeah, it sounds I've heard of like a pig roast.
Yeah, hog roast. Yeah.
Hog roast.
Been doing.
I've even heard of pig wrestling.
Wrestling
at the old at the fair.
Oh, the county fair.
The county fair.
You get a pig. Mud up a pig and you
fucking
try to chase it down.
Try to chase it down.
Yeah.
Now pig killing, that sounds like something else.
Pig killing, hog killing.
Hog killing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's spicing up hog killing events, huh?
He's spicing up. He's playing rockabilly. The hog killing.
One for the money, two for the show. Just holding a revolver and a hog.
Fucking blood splatters all over his harmonica.
You bring your 8-year-old son to the hog killing. They're playing rock around the clock while they shoot a fucking pig in the head. Having fun, Billy?
This is a night you won't forget.
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, rock.
One thing he wouldn't do was play for tips on the streets.
I won't play for tips.
I'm above it. I'll play a hog
killing.
He's
not a panhandler.
He's not a panhandler.
This man does hog killings.
He does hog killings. He's a professional. I play for TV celebrities.
God damn it. That's Jerry Springer.
There's no real money in playing on the streets, he says. That all changed 2 years ago after he received an email from a downtown development nonprofit in Birmingham, Alabama.
They go, "We need you.
We need you." The organization said it would pay him $200 to play on the street for 2 hours at lunchtime.
It's not that good.
Any tips you could keep.
Oh, tips too.
You could keep the tips, yes. It's still not that great.
No.
Quote, I was like, well, yeah, absolutely, he said, whose real name...
$200? I'd do anything for that.
They pay me $50 for the hog killing. Jory Lee, his real name is Jory Lee Heindel.
Jory Lee Heindel.
So Martini Shakers is a good choice. Yeah. Within a few weeks, he was serenading office workers out for lunch with songs by Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash. The king of rock and roll and the man in black.
I feel my temperature rising.
Heindel is one of thousands across the U.S. who have stumbled into the country's hottest new job market. Street performer.
We live in hell.
Panhandling. It's the hot
Oh, you gotta get into it. Yeah. I become a panhandler, Mom. It's actually one of the best jobs you can get right now.
You don't understand.
Yeah, I'm asking strangers for money.
The only thing AI can't do.
In exchange for swallowing a sword. It's the only thing AI can't do.
Yeah.
Can't beg.
Once tolerated at best and seen as a nuisance at worst, these entertainers are now in high demand.
I don't know about that.
Downtown development districts and other nonprofit groups are paying up to $100 an hour for buskers, jugglers, mimes, and musicians.
Again, it seems like the going rate. They're acting like this is an insane amount of money. If I'm going to have a guy stand on the street for an hour.
$100 an hour is not bad.
It's good. Yeah. It is good. But they're acting like it's like the hot, you know what I mean? Like
they're acting like it's you're working on Wall Street or something. Yeah.
You still get one of these gigs a month.
Yeah.
It's like $100 a month.
Right. Betting their acts can make empty office districts feel safer and less depressing. See you.
Bet again.
You go into the empty office. You go to lunch. Nothing's open. There's like one food truck around. Yeah. You got some fucking dirty mime bothering you.
That's a nightmare. That doesn't make me feel better. It makes me want to kill myself. I'm going into an empty, vapid office with no one in it. The AC's been cut off because no one's been in for 3 months. Right. And I look out the window and I see a guy going, what? Yeah.
You're stuck inside one box. He's stuck inside another.
You're in your cubicle.
You're making like $30 an hour. He's making $100.
He's making $100.
Fuck, what the fuck am I doing?
I gotta get out there.
I gotta get the hot new market street performer.
Yeah, I need a new job.
I gotta take up panhandling. Quote, I didn't even think it was a possibility to get paid at all for something like this, said Noel Jackson, a flow artist who makes...
The fuck is that?
What do you... Take a guess on what you think.
Like rapping? Flow artist? What is flow?
Well, she waves around weighted balls tied to strings.
Oh, give me a fucking break.
I can't even picture what that means.
Yeah, I can't even visualize that. Weighted balls tied to strings.
She waves them around.
Hey, honey, I got some weighted balls right over here for you.
I'm a flow artist.
I'm a flow artist. Yeah.
Add that to
you don't know?
Add that to the list of jobs I don't understand.
Yeah, no shit.
Remote work and closed department stores have left many downtowns trapped in a downward spiral known as a doom loop. It's the whole world's in a
known as a doom loop.
The whole world's in a goddamn doom loop.
They also just
downtown.
They just made up. They did double clicking right there.
They
just go downward spiral, also known as a doom loop.
AKA doom loop.
That's a doom loop.
So Birmingham, Alabama, it's in a doom loop.
We're in a doom loop.
We're in a doom loop.
This election, bit of a doom loop.
And we need to bring the jugglers in to fix it.
Bring the jugglers.
Bring in the jugglers.
We're in a doom loop. What the fuck? This is insane. This is just like, I don't even know how to wrap my head around this story.
No. As fewer people commute to work, shops and restaurants are forced to close, making business districts more desolate and keeping more people in the suburbs.
It's a doom loop.
It's a doom loop. Joe. It's a doom loop. We're in a doom loop. It's no laughing matter. No, wait, this is funny. By the way, it is true though. It's insane. I work in Midtown East.
You work in a doom loop, yeah.
I work in a doom loop.
Yeah.
Midtown East, right by Grand Central. And
it's just like
every Friday,
empty wasteland over there.
It's a wasteland. Monday and Friday, there's nobody in any restaurant.
Yeah,
it's insane in New York City.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, fucking Des Moines, Iowa. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess it's just a doom loop.
We're in a doom loop.
Now, are there mimes and jugglers where you are?
No.
They've got to get him over there. That would honestly bring me back to the Grand Central area during the day for lunch.
Yeah, if there's a mime and
there's
juggler.
A mime, perhaps juggler, perhaps a flow artist of some kind. I would probably go in to dine during the day.
Right, exactly. I would as well. No, the only thing we have is there's this guy with like a fucking mangy flea ridden dog. And a monkey plays the cymbals.
And a gun. He shoots possums.
Yeah, he shoots possums. Yeah. And no, there's a guy with a bunch of weird animals, and they don't really do anything. They don't do tricks or anything. They just kind of sit on a blanket, and people look at it.
They look at it. Yeah. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
And
sounds like a nice area.
Yeah. To escape this cycle, cities are trying to be a little more like Las Vegas.
Oh, God.
If offices can't carry a downtown economy anymore, the thinking goes perhaps entertainment can. Downtown Grand Rapids,
Now,
Inc.
tell me this.
Yeah.
Would you do like an outdoor stand-up show if they offered you $100 an hour?
$100
You stand
an hour?
on the corner, and the audience just comes. You just have an amp and a mic.
For $100 an hour, I'd debase myself for that. Yeah,
an hour, 2 hours of stand-up.
Yeah. No, but there are guys.
No crowd.
Yeah, there are guys. I don't really hear about it anymore, but in like the 90s, there was a very famous comedian,
Right,
Charlie Barnett.
Yeah, Charlie Barnett. Who would do that?
Yeah, then he died of AIDS. So
Yeah.
look where that got him.
Exactly.
Anyway, so
AIDS, bit of a doom loop.
that's a doom loop
That's
if
a
I've ever
doom
heard of
loop.
one.
Yeah.
Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc., the city's downtown development organization, pays buskers $40 per hour. In Chattanooga, a nonprofit called Soundcore, working together with the city's tourism company, pays $25. This going hourly rate for a busker in Minneapolis ranges from $60 for single musicians to $100 for a trio. Quote, "It's a pretty low lift for us to do and change things," said Jonathan Crane.
Now, music is different. If you have a full band outside during the day,
Yeah.
it could really brighten up a place.
That is true.
A juggler alone with no music, I mean, the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
a mime
juggler
on an
and
empty street
mime.
corner, I'll fucking run the opposite direction.
Yeah. Or a flow artist.
Get the Counting Crows down there.
Yeah,
Have them play Mr. Jones. They're not doing shit.
They're not doing anything.
Play Mr. Jones. Get Adam Duritz on the job.
Yeah. I
could-
agree.
$100 an hour, you could do it.
Good. I do
Yeah.
like a nice band or
Yeah,
anything,
like a
so
music band.
Yeah, like a music band.
Perhaps a rock and roll band.
Yeah. The nonprofit Rev Birmingham started paying buskers in 2022. At first, staffers called a local college to ask if they knew any performers and reach out to the local media. Those interested were asked to fill out an online form and include links to their YouTube or SoundCloud accounts. Quote, "I go through all of those and try to listen to the submissions," Crane said. And basically, as long as you're a competent performer, you're kind of good to go.
So the bar's incredibly low. Yeah. I'll listen to about 12 seconds of the SoundCloud.
Right. So there's this lady, Mira Kehoe. She spends about 3 hours a week on average playing jazz and Brazilian music on various instruments in downtown Minneapolis. She is part of 3 busking programs.
Now, downtown Minneapolis, one of the most vacant places I've ever seen in my life.
Really? I've never been there.
Oh, I was just there a month ago. Me and my friend Ryan were walking around. We're like, was there like a nuclear fallout? I mean, like for like blocks and blocks. You look down every street, there's not a fucking person.
Really?
We're the only people there. It was
Wow.
insane.
Wow.
I don't even know. I mean, it was crazy.
That's wild.
No one at all.
No one at all. Anyone is, they're stuck in Minneapolis with the
absolute
Memphis
zero.
Blues again. Anyway, so she performs in Minneapolis. She's trying to. Apparently, it's not working.
I don't think so.
According to you,
I didn't even see her.
It's a ghost town.
Yeah.
She makes around $100 a week on average in stipends, not counting tips. On rare occasions, passers-by steal money from Keogh's tip jar or try to touch her instruments.
They try to touch her.
Her husband, also a busker, recently saw a fight break out 3 feet from his elbow while playing the piano. Quote, "You have to be skillful at how to be in that environment on the street where anything can happen," she said. But for the most part, buskers say they feel safe and they hope their music will help others feel the same way. Quote, "A lot of people, particularly in the South, look at downtown as more of a dangerous place to be,"
Right.
Heindel said. "So when you see some random guy on the street singing an Elvis song, I think it kind of dispels that fear."
But only Elvis.
Only Elvis.
Yeah.
Only the king.
When I'm in downtown, I feel a little scared. I like to see somebody kill a hog. That makes me feel better. It makes me feel more at ease. And a lady spitting heavy balls.
Yeah, killing a hog.
Let's shoot a pig in the
spitting-
fucking head and spin some heavy balls.
Yeah.
I won't
feel
have a
safe.
psychotic break at all.
No.
Yeah.
Jeez. Singing Hound Dog.
Huh?
I like to see somebody singing Hound Dog. That really puts me at ease.
Yeah. That feels great. Well, that's been this episode of Echo Chamber Podcast. We'll try to. The world's hanging on by a thread this episode, but
it really is.
We'll try to find some lighter stories next week.
Yeah.
Try to lighten it up. So tune back in next week. We'll lighten it up.
Yeah. We don't want to get into a doom loop.
Yeah, we don't want to get into a doom loop. The last thing you'd want to do is find yourself into a doom loop.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it. That's the show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review, all that shit.
Rate, review,
leave a comment, tell your friends,
tell people about it.
Yep. As always.
Go ahead.
You want to say something?
Well, no.
All right. As always, we also have a big announcement coming sometime soon.
Big announcement. Go ahead and start subscribing to my YouTube channel.
Yes.
At Nunnink Comedy.
Nunnink Comedy.
Nunnink Comedy. We're going to start transitioning the podcast onto that.
Yes.
Because I have a lot more subscribers there.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
But we would like you to join that channel as well.
Yes.
We're going to start putting the podcast on that. I'll also be recording my debut comedy special in Brooklyn at the end of August 24th. If you're in the New York City area, go check that out. Check out my debut stand-up special recording on August 24th.
Yes.
And follow the YouTube channel. It sounds like a lot of self-promotion right now, but we're going to move the pod to the YouTube.
We're going to move the pod to Joe's YouTube. He's recording a special. I'll plug my thing.
Plug your thing. Yeah, you have a thing, too.
I have a thing. Next week, well, no, they might actually forget it.
By the time this one goes out,
you're right.
It's over.
I got nothing.
Trent will have just done an awesome thing by the time you see this. Unfortunately, you will not be able to attend that because we didn't promote it in time. So
that's all right.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, tell the folks what it is.
Well, I'm recording a set for Sirius XM
on the radio.
On the radio,
and I've always said he
satellite
has
radio.
Trent's got a face for radio.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
That's right. Well, as always, thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. This is Joe Nunnink signing out.
And this is Trent Mabry signing off.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.